Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and we are finally at the tail end of Rejuvenate Edition 5, and I cannot find anyone better to help me close Edition 5 but Larissa Maloney, all the way from the US. Larissa, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me, Andrew.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming over on Rejuvenate Edition 5 and to help us close the edition as well. It's a real privilege and honor of ours to be doing so. Okay, now, very quickly, I'm just going to go into who Larissa Maloney is. I'm just going to give a little brief background. Larissa is an ex-professional beach volleyball player, which I'm very excited to find out a little bit more about. She is obviously an educator, a motivational speaker. She is now obviously an entrepreneur as well, and she's the owner and founder of Active Kids 2.0. And today we are here to find out a little bit more about what Active Kids 2.0 is all about. And one thing I'll just like to add before I pass the floor to Larissa is obviously, Active Kids 2.0 is currently the fastest growing on-demand service in terms of fitness and wellness for not just kids, but also for parents. So what is all this about? So Larissa, please, welcome to the show once again, and could you explain a little bit more about who you are and what you've been doing and how you've ended up doing Active Kids 2.0?
Yeah, sure. Again, thanks for having me. I am super excited to be here to talk to all of you about, fitness and wellness and how I became who I am today. I grew up in a extremely competitive family, and my mom and dad, they were both athletes. My brother, an athlete, and he played basketball in college. And I went on to play, I played basketball growing up, but then I, for some reason, got into volleyball, and I ended up playing volleyball in college, and eventually got to play volleyball on the professional tour for a couple of years. And I got to travel around the country and a little bit internationally as well, and hop from tour spot to tour spot and do something that I completely love doing. So after that, I ended up starting a family. I have 3 kiddos now, and I wanted to make it a priority to stay at home with my kiddos as they grew up. So the first couple of years, stay at home with. And I had a volleyball academy that I ran as my, business got to the age where they, had to go to school. I decided, I need to get back in the workforce. I need to go back full time. So what I did was I was a personal fitness instructor at a local high school. And I taught personal fitness, and I also coached volleyball. So that was, the perfect synergy for my passion, really, for educating the youth and empowering and motivating the youth. So that is what I did. And 2020 hit, you know what I mean? 2020 hit all of us, March 2020, with and at my school, they told us literally on a Friday, they said, things are going crazy, and we want to put it out there that we might be going virtual as a full school. It might not happen, but if it does, we want to, make sure to prepare you guys. Literally hours later that night, we got an email saying, we're going virtual full time. You're not going back to school. You guys need to figure it out. So of course, that was a complete shock for everyone across in the world. In my little world, it was complete shock. I was a personal fitness teacher, and I was saying, how am I going to teach my students personal fitness online? I had no idea. So, I literally sat down and I thought about what can I do? And I wrote down a whole bunch of things and I said, maybe I can, have them run a mile on a Monday, or have them, lift, do arms on the Tuesday, and then Wednesday, do this, do this, do this. And I said, okay, this is absolutely boring. My kiddos, my kids are not going to like this. They're high school kids. So they're ages 14 to 18. It's not going to be them. So if it's not fun for them, they're probably not going to do it. So then they're learning and we're doing it together. So my husband built a home gym and for me, and I said, how about I go live on YouTube and we can, it's kind of like we're together. They can see what I'm doing. We could, still have fun. There's still that interaction piece. So let's just try it. So that's what happened. I told a couple of teacher friends, this is what I'm doing. They asked, can my, students join? And I said, yeah, sure, of course. And then Monday morning hit, I pressed play and I started the workout, and the numbers started slowly going up. It started off with like 15 kids. I had about 75, so I knew more kids were going to come on. And then after the warm up, I looked and the numbers just climbed 100, 500, 1,000. I got to 7,000 students and families, teachers, schools on my first live.
Amazing.
So it was absolutely insane. So that's what I did for the remainder of the year. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. I did a 30-minute workout. It was fun. I brought my own kids in it. We had fun dance parties. We did a lot of cardio sessions. It was a blast. And I ended up building a community and a community that was really, really, really what I built. And I ended up, every day I was shouting out different students. I was shouting out different teachers and families and grandparents and sisters and brothers. And it really just became something special. And one summer hit, I sent out a message and I said, do you guys want to continue this, or do we want to take a break? And they said, we have to keep going, because this has literally been the glue keeping my family together during this pandemic. So I said, okay, how do I make this bigger than myself? And that's how Active Kids 2.0 was born. I now have karate class, dance class, boxing class, sports classes, all of that stuff within my platform.
That is so amazing to hear, and to be frank with you, I was checking out one of the YouTube videos that you've done. It was a full body workout. I tried it on for like 5 minutes. I guessed out, and it's just to give our audiences a glimpse of it, right? You may think it's workout videos for kids. It may sound a little simple, but believe me, when you go and check out what Active Kids 2.0 has been doing in terms of YouTube videos to follow the workouts, it's not as simple as it seems. It's a real workout in itself, and I guess that's key, to be honest. The videos are very genuine. The videos are very I don't know if I'm saying this right, but smartly put, I suppose, is very structured in that sense. And it helps, I suppose. You were talking about your background, right? You come from a family of athletes, your parents were athletes. Your brother, of course, played college basketball and whatnot. So I'm sure you've got this planned out really well. Now, you mentioned a couple of things. It's not just workout per se. You've also got dance classes and martial arts classes and whatnot. Do you run all these classes on your own? Or do you have help in terms of qualified coaches and trainers? How's the setup like?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I do a lot, but I don't do everything, right? My specialty, I know my specialty, which is volleyball, and it's cardio and strength classes. That's my specialty. When it comes to karate, when it comes to dance, when it comes to cheer, I have no idea. So I had to hire the best of the best people, professionals, yeah, that are professionals in their craft and they lead the workouts. So I have instructors from all across the country instructing my kiddos.
Now, your classes, you were mentioning a little bit about your timetable. Now, I'm sure that that has gone beyond just that fixed timetable per se. How many classes do you run? I suppose in a week, or if you don't have that number off the top of your head, how many classes do you run per day? In various different kinds of workouts or discipline or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so the cool thing about Active Kids 2.0 is that it's all on demand. So we don't do any live classes. It's whatever class that the student, the child is, what they're feeling up to for the day. Maybe on Monday they're feeling, man, I really want to relax because it was a long weekend. I need to do a yoga class. So they're going to pick yoga, and then, the yoga class is going to pop up for them. But maybe on a Tuesday, I have a lot of energy. I want to have some fun. Maybe I'm going to do a karate class. So everything is all on demand, and they get to choose their active experience.
Nice. So it almost feels to me like it's the Netflix of fitness classes in that sense, right?
Exactly.
A whole range of menu pops up, and then you get to choose everything and see everything in that sense. Now that's very nice. I suppose how many in terms of a library of items or videos that you have, what's in that whole library of yours right now? Does it get rotated? Does it get refreshed, on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis?
So recently, we've had a lot of updates with how our experience is. We've had a lot of feedback from our community, and we like to listen to our community because that's really what's built us from the beginning. So our community was saying it would be nice to have more of an experience than a whole bunch of classes being thrown out at you. So the experience is they get to choose what kind of plan, what kind of package that they like, and then it takes you Monday, you can do this. On Tuesday, I've added in nutrition pages, active coloring pages, and on Wednesday, you can do this. So it literally takes you on an experience.
Now, you mentioned packages, and I was just about to jump into that. So obviously, this is a subscription model that you have got going as well. Before you kind of let us know what are the packages are and what's the subscription fee like. I guess when you first started off, did you think of it that it would end up being a business for you? I'm sure when it started in 2020 in March, when you got that email in terms of you guys are all going virtual starting next Monday, was that in your mind in terms of turning this into a business in itself, or was it always let's just do this for fun and
Yeah, absolutely. So it never really crossed my mind that this would be the business that it is today, or a business period. I just knew that I had to create something for my students that the students would enjoy, engage in, and to keep them positive and healthy, because at that time everything was so unknown and it was scary, and everybody was locked in the house. I mean, we still are kind of, but all of those things, and I just didn't want that for my students. So I knew that I had to come up with a program to make sure they stayed healthy mentally and physically.
Now, when you say it's a scary situation out there, just to do a little bit of comparison. Now, we've also been in lockdown here in Malaysia since March 2020. We've got multiple lockdowns, and to be honest, since last year and this year in 2021, I think most kids who are from the ages of 7 to 12 have not really been to school. I think at most it's probably 2 months out of this 2 years that that has just flown by us, you know. Obviously, they're stuck at home, online classes are happening. But now the situation is getting a little bit better in Malaysia, and schools are ready to reopen again in November, very, very soon, in fact. I suppose my question is, when that situation happens as well in the States, where kids are now ready to go back to school again, do you see this model of yours in terms of Active Kids 2.0 being an online subscription still have that kind of a demand, or do you think people are just, you know, I miss the feel of the grass, I miss the feeling of being under the sun, and you know, with the wind blowing through my face? How is it like?
Yes, absolutely. That's such a great question. And the cool thing about Active Kids 2.0 is really every couple of weeks it's been transitioning, and it's really been it's been expanding to other to more paths, more outlets, if I could say. So yeah, I know that kids are going to go back to school, and I want kids to be in school. It is so important socially, you know, mentally, their well-being, to be in school and to learn in person and to be surrounded by friends. That is so important. And also for them to, you know, get those extracurricular activities actually outside. I know that is so important. But within the families with active kids, the cool thing about it is a lot of moms, a lot of parents with multiple kids, it's very hard to get them to a basketball game and karate practice and soccer all on the same night. So the cool thing is with active kids, they could still be active at home, plus have those extracurricular activities to do, you know, outside of the home. So that's with families. But just like I said before, Active Kids is expanding, and it has expanded because now we have actual schools and charter schools that are using our program for their curriculum. So we are in the schools too, which is really cool.
That's really interesting. Now, before I jump into the next question, I just want to pull back a little bit. Obviously, I apologize. I forgot to address this. Now, we were talking about subscription earlier. And you know, if you don't mind sharing with us, what is that whole package and model like?
Sure. So for our families, they can do a 30-day package, and it's a monthly subscription, or they can, which is 30 days worth of content, or they can do a 90-day subscription, which is 90 days worth of content, or they can do a yearly subscription, which is a whole year full of content. So that's for our families. And then we work with corporations and schools, and they just have the option to do a year plan.
Now, when you say a 30-day worth of content, 90 days worth of content, and a year-long worth of content, now that content isn't just 1 or 2 or 3 content, correct?
No.
Okay.
It's multiple.
Multiple. Okay. Could you give us an idea of what that multiple is like?
Yeah, sure. So if you choose the 30-day plan, you get to choose what kind of package that you like, because we all know kids usually they are inclined to something. So maybe, you know, a child is inclined to like martial arts. They really like martial arts. So they would choose the martial arts package, which includes karate, boxing. We put yoga in there, you know, good things for flexibility. We put some strength in there because you need some strength, you know, within those things. So it just depends on the child and what they feel inclined to do.
Okay, so I hear you there, and I guess it's also very well thought out in that sense, because when you say a martial arts package, it doesn't just conform to just the traditional martial arts. So you've thrown in yoga in there, you've thrown in strength training and stuff like that. So that's very good. It's a very holistic workout, I suppose, and a holistic fitness regime for kids. Now, when you also then say family, I suppose when I subscribe to let's say the cardio workout, for example, you would have literally families doing it together, I suppose. And even the yoga classes, maybe most of the mums would like to join in, and some of the dads get pulled in and to do the yoga as well. So I'm sure that's sort of an experience, correct?
Oh yeah,
Right.
absolutely. It's, it really is an experience because a lot of people call it active families because they all do it together. And that's the fun of it. Um, I mean, I know sometimes moms, they need time to do the dishes. So they might send the kids to do an active kids class, while they walk, while they do the dishes. But to do it with your kids is one of the best feelings.
Now, when you also then, had the idea of launching this, I suppose in the back of your mind, there is also that I suppose, wish for kids to kind of like stay away a little bit from their gadgets, in terms of playing on their smartphones, in terms of playing mobile games and whatnot. I mean, I'm not saying we don't do that at all, but, with a lot of people being locked down at home, a lot of kids turn to that. And in Malaysia, it has become somewhat of a problem as well, where kids as young as 4 or 5 get addicted to being on the smartphone all the time. So I guess you had that in mind, and and do you see a big shift in that in terms of families or parents or moms and dad coming to you guys and say, thank you for Active Kids 2.0 because my kids are now spending less time in front of their gadgets?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? In reality, the kids are going to be on technology.
Hmm.
So why not make it smart technology?
Hmm.
And why not, make sure that while they are on technology, they should be learning, engaging, and having fun and moving their bodies. So that's what I promote because we know nowadays this is just where we are, and technology really rules our world. But if you're smart about it, it could really be a game changer. And I've had a lot of parents tell me that, like,
Hmm.
they're done with the PlayStation, they're done with the Nintendo because they're doing active kids instead of that.
That sounds amazing, and I obviously hope that one day, in Malaysia, that can become a reality as well, where most parents will tell, people that, they're done with the PlayStations and Nintendo because, there is Active Kids 2.0. That's fantastic. Now, Larissa, I suppose we touched a little bit on schools reopening, and obviously you wish for the kids to be back in school as well, that all that social interaction and whatnot. But what do you see the long-term plan for Active Kids 2.0 is?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? The direction that it's going now, since everything is reopening, is I guess I see the long-term plan clearer day after day because now we have really started to partner with companies um, to provide those fitness and wellness classes. So a lot families do, but even more companies utilize our program. So we, just to give you an idea, we just partnered with Virtual Virginia, um, and that is a full virtual program for kids all across the country. So when they're doing their PE requirement for the year, they use Active Kids 2.0. So the same thing with a charter school in California, Oklahoma. It's called Epic Charter, and they do the same thing. So they use our program for their PE requirement. So that's what I see Active Kids really in the future. Us partnering with bigger, big schools, programs, corporations to provide Active Kids for their community.
That's amazing. Now, Larissa, I know in your Active Kids 2.0 program, you also touch a little bit on nutrition. Um, obesity in the ASEAN region and obesity in Malaysia in general, it's a huge problem among children. We've got one of the highest obesity rates around the region here, and we're not proud of that, obviously. How important is including nutrition into this whole Active Kids 2.0 program?
It is so important. And, from, the first couple of months when I launched Active Kids 2.0, I knew that I wanted to have a nutrition element to it. So after I built out, the standard classes, the main classes, I said, okay, I have to bring nutrition into it. And so that's exactly what we did. Within the experience, the kids and the mom and dads, they get, active recipes. And these are recipes, they're very simple, that mom and dad and kid can do together. So, we're all about involving the kiddo within the experience. So we've included that. And we talk a lot about being mindful, and that comes with nutrition as well. Being mindful of what we're putting in our bodies, being mindful of, what we say, the things that we are, putting into our brains with the TV and all of that stuff as well. And that's something that has been a priority for us at Active Kids, making sure not only, staying healthy physically, but mentally as well. And that nutrition is such an important piece to that.
So I suppose within that scope of things that you've just mentioned, you also teach, I suppose, healthy lifestyle tips and stuff like that, how to get enough rest, sleep, and things like that. So that's really fantastic. Now, one other question I have in terms of this whole module for Active Kids 2.0. As you know, the recent Tokyo Olympics, it's big news about, athletes, I suppose, I wouldn't like to use the word suffering, but I suppose struggling with mental wellness in that sense. How important is it today for us to teach kids about mental well-being, much like financial literacy? To a certain extent, it's something that even in Malaysia, we've been trying to push for financial literacy to be taught in schools in the early ages. I myself now personally think mental well-being should also be something that is taught in schools. I mean, that whatever the curriculum is in the education system needs to go along with the times, and mental well-being, is that something Active Kids already have? And I do apologize if I don't know about it, but if not, is it something that it's in the pipeline for you to introduce in the program and in the experience, basically?
Absolutely. And just like you said, that mental health piece is so important. And it is so important to build it at such a young age to create that foundation, because mentally healthy young people will result in mentally healthy adults. So making sure we start that at a young age is so important. And within, kind of like I said before, within our yoga classes, we always start off with an intention. And throughout the practice, the kiddos repeat that intention as they go through the flow. So those positive words of affirmation help them throughout their day, help them throughout their week, and which ultimately results in helping them have a healthy mindset, a positive mindset. But plus, we have just recently announced that we now partner with a company called Enrichly. And it is actually an SEL program, social emotional learning program, that caters to the mental health of kids. So once you buy the Active Kids program, we have a bundle, and you get the social emotional learning program with it. And it has everything to help the kiddos with self-esteem, with confidence, with everything that you can think of with mental health, positive affirmations, all of that good stuff. It's all encompassing. So Active Kids is here mentally and physically for you.
Fantastic. Now, we spoke about all those different spectrum in that sense. Perhaps I would like to ask, is there I suppose, a special program for differently abled children? Children who perhaps are in certain spectrum of autism, for example, or is that again in the pipeline for you to introduce in the coming iterations of Active Kids 2.0?
That's such a good question. And yes, that is in the pipeline. It's coming. It is definitely coming, because we definitely have a lot of parents that come to us, asking that exact question. So it is in the works.
Beautiful, beautiful, and it's such a wonderful thing to kind of wrap things up with the session we're having with Larissa, because I am a big advocate and supporter for inclusivity and giving everyone opportunity, and with the theme of Edition 5 this month on sports, I believe that sports, regardless of where you are in the world, is able to bring everyone together. There's no gender bias, there's no cultural or racial or there's no language barrier in terms of sports, right? Anyone can watch an Active Kids 2.0 video and start mimicking the movement and the workouts, and it they don't need to be able to understand English in that sense. So it's wonderful. Yeah. It's wonderful. And with that, Larissa, I guess kind of to close things off a little bit, my second last question to you is there plans for world domination?
Absolutely, absolutely. We really are worldwide. We are in England, we are in Africa, we are in Australia, Poland as well, Pakistan. We are worldwide. So yes, world domination. We want to make this as big as possible. And I have a goal of impacting and empowering 3 million kids by 2023. So I'm hoping to get Active Kids 2.0 in Malaysia next.
Fantastic, and I guess we will take this offline and see how we can perhaps make that into a reality in that sense. And I would love to support that vision and goal you have of impacting 3 million kids by 2023. I think it's a fantastic vision to have. Lastly, Larissa, any word of advice for, I guess, kids out there? Any advice for parents out there as well? And as a very successful women athlete, motivational speaker, coach, and educator, and an ex-professional athlete, what word of advice you have for women and girls out there?
I love that question. I love that question. I always say this, and it's always best to take the risk. Take the risk. Take the leap. If you have a feeling, sometimes you get, that butterfly feeling in your belly, that little nudge, that little quiet nudge. If you get that for something, I challenge you. I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to take the leap, because the results at the end will be greater than you've even ever imagined. And that's what I've done all throughout my life.
Beautiful, beautiful. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we bid Larissa Maloney goodbye. But before we do so, I just want to say a big thank you, not just to Larissa today and for now, for closing Edition 5 for us, but also to all our guests from day one. We've had Zulaika and Zulaika's parents. We've got Dr. Malini Chandrashan, or Chan as he's preferred to call himself. We've got Dr. Rebecca, and we have also got Shaukat as well, our pro wrestler from Malaysia. And obviously today we had Daphne Ng, our ex-national badminton player, as well as Filippo Levy, who is an international rugby Samoan captain, who is based in New Zealand today. So a big thank you to all these guests. We've got amazing people, very inspirational stories that they've shared, and I hope that our audience here today, after listening into the sessions, they get inspired, as Larissa has put it. Make that leap of faith. You gotta put that into motion, because you never know until you go and grab that opportunity of yours. So beautiful word of advice to end the session and to end this month's edition of Rejuvenate. And with that, I'd like to say a big thank you once again to Larissa. Thank you so much for helping me close edition 5. It's been a real privilege and honor, and I'm, I myself am truly inspired by your words and your whole concept of Active Kids 2.0. And then I'm serious about talking offline after this about world domination right here in Malaysia. I would love to see how we can get that off the ground.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrew. And thank you to everyone that's watching. Follow your dreams, everyone, because it's real. It really is real. Take the leap. Talk to you soon.
All right. See you then. Bye-bye.